is the hard work and passion.
Welcome. This is the Beyond Take Two podcast, brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. I am your host, Madge.
And I'm your host, Veronica.
And today we have a special guest in the building with us. This young lady is one of the most highly decorated up-and-coming directors in the film industry right now. She has won plenty of awards through the film festivals. I think even Netflix gave her like a little some. So, you know, she is definitely doing her thing, and she has graced us with her presence. We're going to talk about her life, her journey, everything that she's doing in the film industry. Hopefully you guys could take away some nuggets. But please, let's give Nikki Mejia a round of applause for being here today.
Yes.
Nikki, how are you?
I'm doing really great.
Yeah.
You know, I guess part of it is exhaustion, but when you're doing something that you love and you're passionate about, then you're willing to go hard, I guess.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Indeed. I feel you. Well, Nikki, we are going to take a deep dive into your life, all of your personal... No, I'm just we're going to talk about your journey, you know, within film and, you know, your whole, you know, just your whole path.
Yeah.
But first, we are going to get into our Buttered Up segment.
Yes.
So today we have...
Favorite part.
We have Craters again. Last time we had their caramel and cheese.
I already ate so many of them already.
You did. So today we have Craters 4 cheese mix. So this is a mix of Parmesan, Romano, white cheddar, and sharp cheddar.
A lot of cheese.
A lot of cheese.
Love it.
A lot of cheese. You a cheese lover, Nikki?
I love cheese.
You love cheese? Now, I feel like you have to do like more than like one just so you could get like the
actual
yeah, you know what I mean?
taste.
Like, don't just take one
Can I
kernel.
do one later?
No, take like
He's
three.
I just ate. Okay, I'll take 3 different ones.
Yeah, take 3 different
I'll
ones.
try the different flavors because it's 4 flavors, right?
Yeah, it's 4 flavors.
I love popcorn.
You love popcorn.
Fun fact, when I was making my feature, all I ate was popcorn and oatmeal. It was really sad.
Really?
'Cause we didn't have money.
That sounds delicious though. I mean, I love popcorn
We didn't
and
have
oatmeal.
money. We didn't have the fun.
Everyone else ate.
Yeah.
Good. I was eating popcorn.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give that popcorn?
Well, there's one flavor that was really I can't distinguish between the cheeses.
Right.
But I like one of the flavors the best. I wish I had a bag of just that one flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe a 6.
6? Okay.
Not bad. It's crunchy.
Yeah.
It's full.
Yeah. Craters always has like really good popcorn.
Do they have other flavors?
Yeah, we had their cheese and caramel mix, a Chicago mix.
We did?
Yeah, we had them. Those were like one of the
That's my
first
favorite.
ones. Yeah, those was one of the first ones
See,
we had.
this one I'm going to rate it a 5 because I feel like it's missing the caramel. Like, I like caramel and
like the
cheese mixed
sweet.
together. Like the sweet and then
Sweet,
that.
salty,
Yeah.
I didn't even try any, so I can't rate it.
Oh.
But
Why didn't you try
since you gave it such terrible ratings, I don't even want to try it now.
No, 6. 6 is not a bad rating.
6 is a terrible rating.
Just the popcorn snob because all I eat is popcorn apparently.
Yeah.
So
Look,
So
if
what-
you are a popcorn connoisseur, and then a 6 is real.
What do you give it?
It's good.
Yeah, but what do you give it?
I think he gives it a 9.
Probably.
No, she knows I don't.
You're still eating.
Oh,
He does.
no.
He is like the worst critic, honestly. He gives everything a low number, even when it's good.
No. It's good. I would give it a 7.
Oh wow.
7. That's decent.
Okay.
That's decent. Yeah.
You did all right this time.
I can't believe you gave it a 5. You're usually like, oh, it's at least 8.7.
I knew I should have picked up this popcorn I saw at Walmart the other day.
What kind was it?
Pop this one. Yeah.
What was it?
I was grocery shopping the other day, and I'm like, oh, this popcorn was mixed with pretzels, and it was like caramel popcorn mixed with just pretzels. And
Wait,
just little.
who made it?
I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah, don't bring in no Walmart brand.
That's it. I was like,
But it
wow.
was good. It looked good.
Well, I mean,
But it wasn't a Walmart brand. It was like an actual, like, you know how they sell different brands.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So it was. Yeah. It
You
was. It
probably
wasn't a
should've got-
Walmart brand.
Why didn't you get it?
So don't bring it
Because I had a lot of groceries. I was like, no.
Next
Too
week,
many.
next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, you gotta feed the babies. That bill get
Yeah, it was like I
Really
had a
big,
full,
really quick.
full basket. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Nikki, you got kids?
No. I have a Chihuahua.
Oh, bless your soul.
Aw.
Bless your
And I
soul.
horseback ride now, so I consider my horses. They're not mine; they're my trainer's horses,
right.
but I treat them like my own. So they're my
I saw you
babies.
horseback riding. So how do you like that?
I love it. It's funny because it's alienating me from people,
Yeah.
You have no friends now?
which
You
is
horseback
which I
ride?
wrong with
like.
that.
I honestly invite anyone who wants to catch up. Everyone's always like, "I want to catch up. Let's meet up." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Come to my ranch."
Yeah.
No, I just say, "Come to the ranch."
I love
If you want to
it.
come to the ranch, you're welcome anytime.
I want to come to
All
the
you have to
ranch.
do is pet them. I feed them carrots and apples, and we have great conversations, and it's
Yeah.
very grounded.
Wait, who has great conversations?
Whoever
Me
she
with
invites.
whoever shows up.
Oh, I thought you meant like with the horses.
I have conversations with the horses too
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
about myself.
Okay.
You know, like sometimes you got to get stuff out, and I'm like,
What have you found out about yourself through the horses?
damn. Okay, so I'm extremely
deep now.
stubborn, and mostly I'm just really critical of myself. So when you're riding, the way that they behave is a direct reflection of your energy, right? Of how you're coming across, of what you're feeling. So now I've found that I've started. I didn't even meditate before. I should have, but I started meditating just because of the horses. Because I was like, all right, I want to ground myself so I can connect with them, so that it could be a little bit more peace when I actually ride. Because before, it was all over the place. When I
Yeah.
rode without meditating, I was just everywhere, like all over. And now I find myself way more centered.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's been, and I get mad at myself, you know, like when I'm not doing something that I feel like should be excelling faster or something. Like I always put all these expectations on myself, and yeah, I can't explain it, but they really show you
Yeah.
to have the patience and the love and care for yourself as you're giving to them, you know?
Right.
So
How long have you been riding horses?
since January.
Since
So
January. Okay, so it's only been a
yeah,
couple
like
months.
4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's been, I guess you could say, like very therapeutic for you.
It has been, yeah. I stopped paying for therapy and started paying for horse therapy. I was like, I need to switch it up.
Yeah.
And also it just feels like, you know, when you're in LA, you're always working, everything's go, go, go so
Yeah.
fast. It feels the ranch is in Sun Valley, which is right by Burbank,
Right,
not
right.
far. But it feels like you're away from the city, and it gives you just time to just, I don't even think when I'm there.
Right.
My mind is racing all the time.
Yeah.
And it's been the most amazing thing for me.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right. We forgot to shout out creators. Shout out to creators for the 4 cheese mix. Please send us another flavor.
Yes.
But we do like your popcorn. It is nice. Back to Nikki. That's very that's very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's almost like your dogs too, because your dogs feel that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but
with
everybody
animals.
has dogs. We're talking about horses here. This is
Yeah, but you
this
know,
is
animals
next
in
level.
general.
You know what's crazy though
Period.
is that my Chihuahua is crazy too, and she has even been much more intimate with me since I started riding.
Yeah.
I don't know if she smells the horses and she's jealous or
Right.
something, but sometimes she's crazy, and then now she's just like, oh, let's hang out, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How
But in
cute.
terms of directing, actually, it was really interesting. You know, as a okay, what I've noticed now that I'm not in school anymore, that I have agents, that I'm pitching on open directing assignments, is that I'm pitching to really big producers. I'm pitching to huge people who I really am not intimidated. Everyone always makes fun of me because they're like, "Oh, you walk." Is that for you?
It is for me, but he should know that we're recording.
Yeah, I've been pitching to like really big producers, and so something that I found with riding the horse is it's like, okay, no, if I can, I don't want to say control this animal, but if I can express myself with this animal and I can get this animal to do what I want and go in the direction that I want it to go,
Right.
Yeah.
it's a direct reflection of my relationships with how I'm building in the industry and just saying like, no, I'm going to stand up for myself.
Right.
This is the movie we're making. Do you want to make this movie? You can come on board or not. You know, it's just it's kind of a reflection of that. And my teacher, he's in the industry. He's older, lovely black man from Texas. He's lovely in his own cowboy way. He's he's very tough. And so he's been, he points out like, if you want to run a set with 200 people, if you want all these IATSE guys to, actually listen to you, you're going to have to be able to, how can you not get this horse to listen to you? You know,
Right.
like all those
Right.
things are a direct reflection
Right.
of what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Now you went to AFI, right? I saw on your Instagram when you made the when did you graduate?
2021, right?
2021, yes.
Okay, when you made the post, your caption said like you didn't know like if somebody told you 3 years ago that you'll be graduating with your master's for directing and like was film not in your was that not your path or
It said that you would laugh.
That was,
right?
that was not my path. So I won't go like way back, but
you can go way back. We got time.
Yeah.
Well, I have a crazy story. It's not hidden because, you were supposed to be in my film. I stopped at 15, which
And when Tiara didn't have a permit, it was the whole permit thing, the kid's permit. I was like bummed out. She was bummed out too, but
yeah, poor baby.
next time.
But yeah, so my thesis film is about kind of my teenage years and the woman that I'm becoming now and the traumas that I've had to confront and get through. But I was a crazy, rebellious teenager, and I ended up in a situation where one of my friends was dating a pimp, and I didn't even know. I didn't know what that life. I just had no idea. I was very naive, but I was also crazy. It's just hard to explain. I was like a nerd, but also it's like I just didn't fit in. Where do I go? Oh, these people accepted me, but under the condition.
15 is a weird age
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? Like you're really trying to step into your own and kind of find yourself. You having all these different emotions. And, I got a kid over there, so I know how it goes.
Yeah. You're like, yes, I've gone through that age. So that was going on, and anyways, we went to a dinner and in Las Vegas where I was 16 at the time.
Wow.
And she was like, all right, so he's going to take you home and we're going to go out to the club because, you don't have a fake ID or anything. And he didn't end up taking me home. He ended up taking me to his house and then basically brought me to Los Angeles and started trafficking me.
Wow.
So that was a really big challenge in my life because I kind of felt like that was
That's
all
the
it was
understatement of the year.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
a huge challenge.
It was a huge challenge, but it's like, I don't know. I was actually sexually abused as a child, and that was kind of like the confirmation for me that this is all I'm worth. Like people will only see me for this one thing ever, and then that just that kind of was like this, I'm just gonna die here. That's it. That's all. I didn't have hopes. I didn't have dreams. I didn't have aspirations. I didn't literally do anything.
Did your friend say anything about it?
Never
Did
spoke
she-
to them again.
Never
saw them
spoke to
again.
You never saw them again.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And that's kind of what the film was. My Life Stopped at 15. It was the girl who tricks her, gets her into this thing, and then it ends with
Like a
life.
setup.
It's a setup.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It still happens. It's happening everywhere. I have a great friend, Rebecca Bender, who has an organization that she runs where she helps women get out and puts them through school, and it's really amazing to now be on the other side where I get to meet women and men who are like helping kids that are being trafficked.
Yeah.
But that happened, and then finally when I was 21, the day before I turned 21, I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm going to die. And can we just mend things? Can we try to mend our relationship? She took me back in. It's been a long journey. We're best friends now. So it's really amazing.
Yeah.
But her husband at the time said, I think maybe you should go to like art school or something. So he told me about Cornish College of the Arts in Seattle. I applied. It was a theater program for acting, directing, and playwriting for theater. And I got in and I went through that program and it was the most amazing experience. However, I don't feel like I took full advantage of it because I had so much trauma. I had so much, like, I couldn't open up emotionally. And it's like, and they're doing Medea and, the Greeks and Shakespeare and all these amazing plays. And I was like struggling to pull anything out because starting to pull that stuff out is then just opening up this huge well. And how do you control that?
Right.
I had no control. So that was that. And then I moved to LA as soon as I graduated and started acting. And it's funny. I was acting and it's amazing how many actors come on set and know nothing about anything other than they just think that like, I am here.
Yeah.
It's all about me. And I'm like,
yeah.
no, it's not all about you. We've been working on all this shit on the back end and you're just supposed to show up and you be present. And of course, but like,
it's a job.
It's like, it's a collaboration,
Yes.
It's not all about you.
Yeah.
And so I knew nothing about the other side. Because I was that actor. I would show up and I'd be like, oh, yes, we're here. Great. And then one day, my little sister got sick and she was in hospital in Seattle. I went up because I'm an actor, I have nothing to do. So they're like, you have to go stay in the hospital with her. And I was like, all right. So I'm sitting there with my sister. And this is the first time I saw my dad, my mom, her husband. It was just like it's surprising under times of distress how you have to have fun and uplift each other and just play against what's happening, right? In order to make it through the situation. And that's when I was like, oh my God, we don't have this story on TV. My dad's a gay Latin man who lives in New York. My mom is like a crazy Latina. Her husband is white, I don't know, Seattle people are very like hippie kind of in a way. And then
Wait,
my
I'm
sister,
sorry. You say your dad was gay?
he is gay, yeah.
Okay.
He's gay. Okay.
So this very multicultural family was in this one room, and I was like, why don't we have a show about this? This is really funny, So I started writing. And then that's when I looked up grad schools. I saw if I was the only open one. I was like, I'm just apply here for directing because I always wanted to direct.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. Made 2 shorts on my phone.
Dope.
Like, I didn't have anything for the
Right.
application. Just prepared it. It was like a month in advance. Prepared everything. The essays, I was super honest in my essays. And that's how I got in.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always say it's God, too. Because people... It's funny, my friend Angelica Washington, she's succeeding so much as an actor. She was like a superhero on a TV series. And I was like, Angie, how does it feel when you book this huge role? And she was like, it felt easy. Yeah. But she's been working so hard for so long. And it felt that way too with AFI. It was like when something's meant for you, it just the ocean parts, and it just feels easy even though the journey has been challenging.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. What a journey.
Yeah, let's
I know
take
that's
it back. No, that's cool. So this happened at 15. How long were you kind of like trapped in that space, and how did you make your way out of it?
Like 4.5 years, and how I made my way out of it. Honestly, it's the same thing. Like one day I was just like, oh, I can die here, or I realized that there were other people in the same situation, and I was like, maybe I should be helping them somehow or doing something. I don't know.
Did you ever do counseling or anything for it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started therapy at 25 years old when I got into my first real relationship with a man who we were in a relationship for 8 years, but he's the one that kind of was like, I think you need therapy, and put me into it. And I also say that he's the first person that believed in me to do anything. He was just like, he would always say, I see the person that you can be. I see the person, because I was a hot mess.
Yeah.
You just get, your worldview kind of becomes whatever your abuser's view was.
Yeah.
And so then you have to shed all that, right?
Right.
That was extremely challenging. So the first 2 years of therapy, I was really depressed. Did not know if I was going to make it through, because you're feeling everything that you haven't felt for years,
Yeah.
decade, a decade's worth of feeling.
Right.
So yeah, that's what happened.
So
Oh my God, Nikki.
because I mean, in my head, like pimps just don't let their girls go. Like, how did you? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just like after to become technical, you become a bottom, which is like the main chick.
Right.
After a while,
That's bottom bitch for.
After
for those
a while, it's like they trust you, and you live on your own. You do everything on your own. You're just making money and sending it. Like, it's not always the same. It's a manipulation.
It's like Stockholm
It is
syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, it's Stockholm syndrome. Then they're like getting their other girls and blah blah. So no, I just left. I mean, I was threatened. I still live under that threat. Sometimes I wonder if there will be retribution or retaliation, especially when my name, like at the beginning of my career, because things started to happen really fast at AFI. Like, I went out and made a feature, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, but like things started happening pretty fast for me, and my name started getting in the trades, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's my name in my picture, and who's gonna see that, and are they gonna come after me? I don't know, So I still live under that, but they can't do anything.
Yeah.
They can't actually do it. I mean, they can, but they won't. I don't think
Right.
so. You'll definitely go to jail, because I am a strong woman now, and I would definitely put this, like, give me an excuse to put you in jail, because I will now.
Right.
So yeah, it's just like I left, and then I was like, that's it.
Yeah, it's not gonna ever happen again. You're not gonna do this to me. You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Now,
Okay.
where are you originally from?
Honduras.
Honduras. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Central America. But we've been in the U.S. since I was 6.
Yes,
Yeah.
Where were you like raised? Like what city?
So first we moved to Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I made another film about called Mancha. That's a Netflix
I saw
fellowship
that
one.
and that's a short film.
It's short,
Yeah.
yeah. And then moved to Seattle because my mom was like, oof, no, it's way too cold. She was like, no.
She saw igloo and was like, "Hey, it's time to go. It is time to go."
Yeah,
You
surprisingly,
really-
my grandma was still up there up until a couple years ago.
Wow.
I was like, grandma.
Where's your grandma now? She's out here, or
She's in Spain now.
oh, that's
that's
beautiful
awesome.
out there.
Yeah, girl.
So you have family in Spain now.
I've been having family in Spain
my
because,
God.
like, when you immigrate from Honduras, it's the same, like, immigration thing, right? Like, you can come to the United States, but it's a hassle, or you can go to Spain, and they welcome immigrants, and they give them their papers. It's much easier. So,
Oh wow.
Nice.
yeah, I have a lot
So-
of family that went out there.
So how did y'all get from Honduras to Alaska?
I'm telling you, because my grandma was there. She was married to a man in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
And so, because we had no family other than her.
Right.
States. So that's where we ended up.
That's where Mama
You
was.
have a
so
story
y'all
to
had go.
tell.
I was like, couldn't you be in Miami?
So I'll take Kentucky right now.
I don't know. Maybe if we would have gone to Kentucky, I would have been introduced to horses a lot sooner.
Yeah.
That would have been dope.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably a whole nother story for
Yeah.
you.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about your thesis films. You said one. So one was
My life stopped at
my life
15.
stopped at 15, and that's kind of like your personal story. And then the other one was
I only did one thesis film.
Oh, okay.
And then Mancha is a Netflix fellowship that I got from La Leaf, which
Okay.
is going on right now. I went to opening night yesterday. It was pretty
Oh,
dope.
beautiful.
It's a great festival.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you guys should try to get in, submit your films, because what I love about that festival is they have Industry Week, and they give you a bunch of meetings with, like, really great mentors, producers, production companies, like really big ones, you know?
Yeah.
But we don't promote other film festivals here.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
No, you're good. You're
I was
good.
like, oh,
No, we love hearing about
you
it.
should be a
Yeah.
part of it,
Nah,
you
I'm just
know?
messing
It's a
with you.
great
Love it.
community.
Yeah.
And you said that's La Leaf?
La Leaf, Los Angeles Latino International Film
definitely
Festival.
need to
It's,
Okay.
it was started by Edward James Olmos.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Nice.
It's been
Awesome.
around a while, like
Yeah.
almost 30 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they started a fellowship with Netflix, and where they give 5 indigenous rooted Latinos and 5 Afro Latinos a certain amount of money, and you go off and make a movie. So I did that,
Awesome.
and I have a feature as well that I shot. Because we were the pandemic year at AFI, so we only went to school the first 6 months, and then obviously nobody
everything.
knew
Yeah.
if you're ever going to go back to school.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't know
right.
what's going to happen. So I got a bunch of AFI kids together. We rented an RV, and we went to New Mexico
Wow.
with my producing partner, Don DePetta, who also wrote the film and starred in it. And we just went to New Mexico with where my friend Sochi had her ranch with her mom, and they welcomed us in.
Wow.
And they're like, "All right, you guys can shoot a movie here." So all the was a 14 cast and crew total. We all just quarantined together.
Wow.
No, it was in the times where, you know, you would buy groceries and you'd be like wiping it with baby
Yes.
wipes or sanitizing the groceries.
Yes.
So like we never went out to the grocery store. We had it, you know, we just ordered it. Naya, our line producer, was amazing. She would go, she'd clean it with our only PA, Travis, who was also an actor. So the actors doubled as crew.
Yeah.
You know? Oh man.
You know what's funny? During like the
grind.
pandemic, I was doing Instacart, right? Because nobody wants to go out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were doing Instacart, and I was getting the groceries, and I wasn't cleaning them. And I remember I had a friend that was like, "You do Instacart? Like, what if you get sick or something, and they're sick, and they dropped off your?" And I was like, "Oh my god." I didn't even think about that. I'm worried about myself going out, right, and being exposed, but I am exposing myself.
We didn't know it was an air virus. We didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know. You're right.
That shit was crazy. It's wild.
15 minutes later.
All right. So we are back.
We're back.
Yeah, we're
Sorry
back.
for the technical difficulties, Nikki.
It's all good. It happens.
We're usually more professional than
It happens
this.
to every one of us.
So
Actually, you want me to tell you a really funny story?
Please.
About my feature?
I need some laughter, please.
Talking about technical profession. So we shot this scene and at night, and my DP lit it. Everyone was learning on our feature. Everyone's first feature, okay? And so I set the environment for everyone to fail. And I was also expect like, please let me fail, because I don't know if I can do this, you know. And so we shot this one scene, and it was the hardest scene. Like nobody could get it. Anyway, so it was just outside. We only had one light, one sky panel that Ari donated. We had like tiny little LEDs maybe, and we had anyway. So we shot this one scene, and my editor fortunately was on set with us, and my editor acted as he was production design help, and he was also, you know, second AD.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he ingested the footage that night, and he's like looking over it and da-da-da. And then he goes, Nikki, I think we're going to have to reshoot that scene. And I was like, oh, I know the acting wasn't that great. Maybe we should do it, you know. And he was like, no, I can't see anything. It's pitch black.
no.
And I was like, oh. Literally, you could see maybe like bobbing heads, kind of like.
Oh wow.
Shadows.
I was like, oh man. And Kadri, our DP, was like, oh, well, maybe I'm not a technical camera person. She was like, maybe the ISO, whatever, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, girl, maybe we should check that next time. Anyways, it looked much better the second day. So thank God.
Okay,
And
good.
yeah. So it happens to the best of us.
Maybe we should open the ISO. Probably.
It's so much
Probably
work
do
that
that.
goes into making a film. Imagine like knowing that you just got it done, and then now you got to reshoot it the next day, and that's just what's going through your mind. Like, oh my god.
What was the film about?
So the film is about PTSD and veterans. So it's about our protagonist, Gio. he's just been sent his best friend's ashes and a letter saying who he just committed suicide, and he says, "Can you go out on the road trip that we were supposed to take together?" And so he goes out on the road with another veteran friend, and it's a healing journey. He comes across a lot of New Mexico, like New Age hippies, and he's like the most bottled up Texan person. He lives in the mountains by himself, and yeah, so he just goes along this journey and opens up and releases his friend's ashes along the way. They go to the Grand Canyon. They go to this other mountain where they do shrooms, and what happens there.
Oh yeah.
It was really fun. They go to the White Sands, which I'm not going to say that. Because the film did get distribution, and I don't want them to get mad at me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Don't want to talk about it.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. And that was your first feature?
that was my first feature.
Wow.
And you said it got distribution as well?
We got distribution.
Wow.
Now how did that come about?
So before we took off, crazy pandemic times, Dawn knew this man, Larry Shapiro, who is now my manager at Luber Ronklin. And we went and had beers with Larry on his in his driveway. And, all the seats were like 8 feet apart. It was like, I don't know, grab a beer, go sit over there, grab it, go sit over there. And what was the question? I forgot. Oh, how the distribution. So Larry. So Larry's friend.
I almost forgot the question.
Larry's friend Naya was our line producer. I met her that day in the driveway, and Naya was like, "I'm bored as shit," and I was like, "You want to come with us? Because I have no production help, and you can be our producer,
Right.
So she came, and so because of that, Larry just kept following our journey. He was like, "These kids are actually insane." Everyone thought we were crazy, and so Larry followed the journey. I sent him the first cut. He gave me notes. Sent him second cut. He gave me notes. The script, it was also Don's first feature screenplay that he had written. And so sometimes you have money for reshoots, sometimes you don't. But we definitely needed a pickup because you didn't understand in the film. There was the present journey, but you didn't really understand what the relationship between him and his best friend was. So we went off and shot flashback scenes to build that relationship, which really strengthened the story. So anyways, Larry was a part of the whole process. He had been kind of courting me to manage, but I don't think he was officially on board until he saw My Life Stopped at 15. Once I finished that film, he was like, "Oh, this is," because I'm a more visual filmmaker, and the feature definitely was more dialogue heavy. I tried to make it as visual as I could, but it was what you can do with an indie, When he saw that film, he was like, "Oh, I want to represent you." He's like, "I think we should take, your feature super indie. I don't think that we should send it out to all the distributors and see which one kind of bids, because it could dilute the film. I think we should be strategic and send it to one person, and if they pass, then send it to the next and see why they're passing or what's going on, right?"
Makes sense.
I love my team. They are very strategic in everything that they do.
Good.
And I really recommend that for people when they're looking for agents or managers. Just like ask them, like, okay, so how would you actually strategize putting me out there, right? So he ended up, okay, so he's like, "Let's go big first." And I was like, "All right." So he sent it to Grindstone, which is a subgroup of Lionsgate, right? We didn't know, God is so crazy. We didn't know that Lionsgate had just started a veterans division that's different from, war films or crazy bombings and stuff like that. They really want to focus on the veteran community and seeing the post-war effects of, post-effects of war and the pre and how it's affecting children. So they're kind of like spreading their wings a little bit. And ours was one of the first films that they received that was in this genre.
Wow.
And so Stan Wortlieb is the executive there, and he saw the film and he fought for it. It's not like it wasn't easy. It wasn't just like, oh, they saw it. It's a very indie film. So he fought for it. He was like, there's horse therapy in it. This is the first time I saw the horses. And he was like, "Oh, I had horse therapy and it was just like the movie and it hit so hard and da-da-da." So they acquired it. The first person that we went
Oh
to
my
acquired
goodness. Wow.
That's awesome.
it. And this was all through relationships, you know, like
Yeah.
my manager's relationships and getting it to the right person.
Right.
Right.
Not saying like we knew our film wasn't going to be like a bidding war type of film.
Right.
And, you know, at the time it had premiered at Santa Barbara Film Festival, which is a great festival.
Yeah.
We were in the final round of Tribeca.
Okay.
And I always wonder, I think so Tribeca reached out and they're like, okay, do you want us to continue reviewing your film or are you going to premiere at Santa Barbara? Because if you're going to premiere there, then we can't have you because we like premieres for features. And we had already told Santa Barbara yes, and I'm like the type of person that just integrity, and I
Yeah.
don't want to go back on my word. I've
Right.
seen now that people pull films, and it's like a really methodical approach as to how you premiere a film,
Right.
which I'll definitely look into for the future. But at the time, my producer and I, Dawn, we were just like, we told them yes. I don't want to just be like, oh, take it away, and then what are they going to do with
Right.
that slot, you know? So
Right.
we just went with Santa Barbara. And I think it was a great choice because I feel like maybe our film would have gotten lost at Tribeca.
Right. Right.
You know, and I'm not sure if it was the right audience for it. So Santa Barbara, it premiered, it did really well with the audience. They added 2 more screenings because the audience asked for it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so that really helped us because then we got publicity, we got journalists to come watch it, we got articles out, and all of that supporting material was what we sent to Lionsgate, and then
That is amazing.
That's awesome.
because we're like, see, the audience wants it, like
Yeah.
the people want it.
People
It's
want
not
it,
even
right,
just like
right.
an industry thing, which I think
Right.
Tribeca would have been more of an industry thing.
And you knew what you were doing. You went with your gut. You know, you chose what city was it in?
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara for a reason. So
Yeah.
God, I almost forgot. I'm like,
it's
so much
funny
on
you
my
talk about Tribeca. We actually had a guy at our festival pull his short because he was waiting on Tribeca. And then the day before we screened, he was like, "Hey man, can you play it now?"
Because he didn't get in.
Because he didn't get in.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, we
Yeah.
can't."
And that's good. That's
You
good
know?
for you to hold your own because I think, you know, I think there are people, the programmer from Santa Barbara has reached out continuously and he did want to play it at a festival in Texas and we did hold off on that one because we were wanting to get into like Austin or South by,
Right.
which we didn't get into.
Right.
But, you know, I'll still have that relationship because I'm really grateful for them programming at Santa Barbara. I ran into the other programmer and she was just like, wow, you guys got distribution. That's amazing.
That's
So
crazy,
I
yeah.
and so then waiting, you know, Tribeca's in June. This happened in March. By the time May came around, we had a distribution deal, which most films don't even get out of big festivals.
Right,
So
right.
we were just like, wow, I think we definitely made the right decision.
right.
Now, what type of distribution deal was it? Like, was it like for overseas or is it local?
No,
or?
it's just for actually no, it's United States, Bahamas, the Bay Islands, Antigua, because there are a lot of military bases over there.
Okay.
So we have not gotten into going to international.
Okay.
We want to, but yeah, it's
And-
just a long process.
And where is it being like distributed to? Like different networks or streaming networks or?
I think with craziness, we don't really know yet.
Okay.
It will be in some theaters in November. They want to premiere it from Veterans Day.
Awesome.
So once we have that, then we'll know where it's going to go to after. But I think we're supposed to have a meeting in July to catch up and figure out a marketing plan and all that
Nice.
stuff.
Okay, so it's still an ongoing
Yeah,
process
it's an
right
ongoing
now.
process. Yeah, it's a very long process. There's supposed to be a whole department to do this process, but the department is Dawn and I.
Right.
Yeah.
We're the legal team. We're
Right.
I was like, oh my God. But you know what is awesome? Like their lawyer just got it. He was like, okay, this is your first feature. You guys don't know what you're doing. I'm going to actually guide you. And we had a lawyer we could only pay so much, so we
Right.
could only request so much time from them.
Yeah.
But the Lionsgate lawyer obviously is there all the time, so we just ask him questions, and he's been
That's nice.
so helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know if people actually take advantage of this, or
Right,
maybe
right.
they don't do it for everyone. they're
right,
like, you have money, get your lawyer.
Right.
No, they've been a joy, and I have nothing but good things to say. It's been it's been a
Wow.
challenging process, and I've learned so much about freaking law paperwork. But yeah.
Well, so how much did it cost you to make this film? I mean, you said it was you and a bunch of your AFI classmates.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to disclose the cost, but
Right.
it is under 200K.
Okay.
So we were able to make it under that. That's about all I can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a little funding. Just
Yeah, I came from all over the place.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get it.
All over the place. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to like really put it together before you actually went out to New Mexico
Oh, our pre-production was like a week.
to put the whole thing together?
Yeah.
And you guys just took off. You guys
We
were
just said
like,
we didn't even have like a finalized script. Like he was working on scenes the day before. It was a fun.
see, sometimes you just gotta
adventure.
do it. When you plan too much, then you start worrying and stuff.
Well,
so
we also it
sometimes,
was like everything came together. We had maybe
Yeah.
like but maybe it was 2 weeks because I got Caudry, our DP, on board, and then for like a week she hustled and reached out to all the different companies, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not using anything. Go ahead, take it because we have no films. No films were being made.
Right.
So they're like, take all our stuff. So we took everything.
yeah.
And everyone had been locked up at home for like 3 or 4 months, and they're like, "Yes, get me out of here."
Yeah, do something.
Everyone was like, "Let's go."
So it's just
Packed
kind of
our
like
bags
the
and
perfect
went.
storm of chilling and wanting to get out and do something and work. And
Yeah,
you guys made some magic. That's
Yeah.
man, that's pretty cool.
it was really fun.
So, what do you like better, producing, writing, or directing? Which one's your favorite?
Directing, 100%. My goal is to direct as much as I can, but I always say I want to be like Ava DuVernay, similar kind of in that vein where you have production, where you're producing and supporting other
Yeah.
artists, and EPing on stuff and having distribution. All of like I really love what she's been able to create. Okay, awesome.
No, fine.
So that's kind of the way I want to steer my ship.
Right.
Create TV shows as well. So yeah.
So what are you working on right now?
Oh, okay.
Everything.
Can you
like-
disclose?
Yeah.
Can you
I'm
disclose?
doing a lot of pitching, which it's been interesting. I guess for our listeners who want to know about pitching, I think being as prepared as possible and having a full vision as a director is so important, because what I've realized, and what people have been telling me, is that I go into these pitches and other people aren't as prepared. And so you really shine if you're prepared. And I could never walk into like one, I can talk about this one because it's already done, but I pitched to Donald DeLine, had like 6 meetings, and that was for the Jenny Rivera film, which amazing director named Gigi Saul Guerrero ended up getting, but it was between both of us, and we met Jenny. It's a real person, so we met her family and made it all the way through the end. But each process, each time I went into pitch, I brought in more and more and more, to the point that I probably shouldn't have. I wrote some scenes, I was like, oh, these scenes, this is how I see the story being, So I've been pitching a lot, and it takes a lot out of me because I like to be over prepared. But then I'm also writing. I'm writing 2 films right now. One is, they're both actually really fun. I'm straying away from like the trauma because it was just so much. I mean, my goal is to make commercial films,
Right.
and I think, yes, touching on subjects that can change the world but also have levity in them is kind of the direction that I'm going. So one of them is about 2 bottle service girls who go to Tulum to have the time of their life.
I like that. I like
They're
the
like,
storyline.
party. And then they have a run-in with the narcos and have to go out on the run and find their way back to America. So that one's kind of like Thelma and Louise vibes.
Oh,
Nice.
And then the other one that I'm writing with my friend, Saeed, who was a a rapper turned screenwriter.
Okay.
And he was really successful in the Bay Area, and he's super dope. And now he has a development deal at Sony, so he's kicking ass.
Rapper
Awesome.
turned screenwriter. Wow. Okay, it's
He's doing amazing. And then the other one is I'm writing with my friend Rebecca Baruch from AFI.
it's the loudest.
It's okay. It's live. It's live.
Comes every Friday, bumping his music.
It's live. It's live. And this one's about teenage. It's a teenage mystery film.
Okay.
I'll just wait for that to pass.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
We have to move.
But this one's about teenage camp mystery about these teenage girls who all have the choice of either going to juvenile detention. They've all committed crimes. They can either go to juvie or camp rehabilitation.
Nice.
They all choose camp, and they go to this camp in the swamplands of North Carolina and are forced to do slave labor.
Wow.
And then murders start happening, of course.
So you're still writing this?
I'm writing both simultaneously because
I want to star in that one. Can I?
Yeah,
can
I was
be a
gonna
part
say,
of
I wanna
that?
star in that one too.
teenage girl. Actually,
That one sounds fun.
There's a role called Sus Sam. His name's Sus Sam. He's in his 50s, but you could totally audition. Maybe you'll crush it, you know. And we describe
I'll
him
put
as,
like an extra 3 inches on my belly.
we describe him as a teddy. What did we describe him? Teddy bear, but not the kind you want to cuddle.
Okay, that's a good one for you, Mash.
Well, I mean, I've always been described as a teddy bear that
You
do
want to
wanna-
cuddle?
You wanna
I
cuddle.
knew you were going to say
But that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe you got to turn.
I got to
the
flip it a
person-
little
Flip
bit.
it around,
Yeah.
yeah.
Flip it. Okay.
It's a really fun script.
Look, Nikki gonna get me in my bag, yeah. My bag, yeah. No, that sounds
sounds
cool.
fun.
That sounds
Yeah.
really
Oh,
interesting.
So, because, the strike is happening. So, all of this we're writing for ourselves. And then once the strike ends, hopefully, then we can go out to pitch. So, we're just writing like crazy.
That's so cool.
Now, what is like the pitch process like? Because when you say you were going out to pitch, I assumed that it was pitching for your projects, but you said that you were pitching.
No, I've been pitching on open directing assignments. So, those are scripts that have already been written.
Okay.
They get sent to you by your agents or reps, managers. If you connect with the script, then you can go out and pitch, and they're looking for a director, to attach a director. So that's what I've been pitching for. 'Cause,
Okay.
and that's even, I guess, frowned upon during the strike. But I
Really?
I don't think as long as you don't do anything, like I'm not doing anything. I'm just
Right.
pitching. If I get attached to something, everything will happen after the strike.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now it's just
So you're just trying to set up some
meeting
plays
people,
right now. Yeah.
meeting people, seeing if a script resonates with you. And, they usually say when you're a newer filmmaker, you're not going to get the best scripts.
Right.
So it has been a challenge, but fortunately my reps are amazing and they have gotten me some really beautiful scripts that I do resonate with.
Awesome.
And so, of course, they always need work. They
Yeah.
need the director's vision.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, but that takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
Pitching my own stuff, I pitched one TV show, but mostly just done general meetings. They're meeting people, and then they ask you, "Oh, what are you working on?" And I tell them, I give them the log line just like I give you, and they're like, "Oh my God, when that script is done, please send it to me." And I'm like, all right, so I have places to send it to when all this is said and done. I
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen. So.
Right.
What are you in Directors Guild already? Not yet.
No, not yet.
I think they're also talking about another strike coming up too. Is it with DGA?
SAG and DGA. They're thinking that
Well,
the
their thing is
DGA might be
coming
the
up, right?
last.
Well,
SAG is first.
their bargaining agreement is coming up, right?
Yeah.
Can't believe that. So they're really following through. SAG.
Yeah, SAG is. I don't know if SAG is going to strike or not, but they're bargaining. I think all the month of June,
Yeah.
and
June
then by
30th.
the end of the month,
Wow.
June 30th, if they
June
don't
30th
get what
is
they
over,
want,
yeah.
they'll strike. And then
Wow.
DGA will probably be the last to strike because DGA really, I think, is just so challenging.
I think DGA is June 30th as well. I was reading
Oh, are they
something.
really?
Yeah, I think it's June 30th
shit.
as
Wow.
well. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens.
it's
This is
starting
going
to
to be a
happen.
defining month.
Goodness. Everyone's just trying to they're just trying to fix everything.
Yeah.
You know what I
But it's
mean?
good.
They're
It's good. Like-
standing up for their union.
What do you know about like AI and how it's coming into play with the film industry. Do you know anything
I know
about
nothing about technology.
it? Nothing about it? Well, because I was reading. I said I was reading like I had a book or something or a magazine. I was on my phone and I was on Twitter and Justine. Um, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I believe it's Justine Bateman. She's a writer
Yeah, yeah.
and she basically had this whole thread about artificial intelligence and what it's going to do for the film industry. And basically, she said it was like, first they're going to start off by creating these images of actors, right? So actors will be able to create like these CGI images, and you'll be able to use them in films. You won't get your full rate. You'll get like 75% of what you usually do, but you'll be able to use like these CGI images for different films all at one time. So that's how it's going to start, and then it's going to go. Well, I think Bruce Willis actually did it because he has like some type of condition. I don't think he's acting anymore, but he actually signed a deal to have his image like CGI so he could continue doing movies.
I think he has dementia.
Yeah, he has something. But she said it'll start off like that, and then basically it'll go into where like, how can I explain it? Like basically a person will be able to tell the AI, I want to see a movie of a water bottle that comes to life and Vin Diesel is in it or something like that. Yeah. And then like the AI would just complete a movie for you and you could basically like create your own movies and it'll basically take away everybody's job, like writers, directors, IAC. You're not going to like there won't be any need for studios because you could basically the TV will be able to scan what you like or something like that, and you can just create whatever.
But then think about it. Technology isn't perfect, right? So we're always going to be needed. I feel like because of the fact that you're always going to need to fix things.
I feel like I personally think that can't succeed. Maybe it might be something where it succeeds for a month or two, but there's no
I wish
soul.
I had the thread so I could.
There's no soul, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like my friend who's a veteran. He did a test trial. He put in all the things into the field of Chat GPT or whatever, and he was like, "Look, they came up with the scene and." There was a monologue, and he was like, I first read the monologue, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And then I realized that the monologue was everything that I've already seen before.
Right.
And he was like, oh, this doesn't have like a soul to it. And the thing about acting, I'm a part of the Actors Studio too, and I go there and I watch. The sessions are pretty much rehearsals. They're always in process at the studio. It's always a discovery. And as an actor, and what I love about working with actors is that you never know because you're reacting. You never know what you're going to do, how you're going to say it, if you're really in the moment, like some beautiful things come out of that. And I just don't believe that. I personally don't believe that like a computer, even if you have a person running the AI and the actor on the AI, like then that means that person behind it would have to be a fucking amazing actor to be able to have those emotions. Otherwise, it's just gonna feel the same and flat, and that's not how humans. That's not what affects humans. I just don't think it could.
It's gonna be so commercialized.
Yeah. I don't know. We gotta fight. We gotta fight. We gotta strike, and we gotta fight for our shit.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was
limitations.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just thought it was interesting, just because like, I feel like they're trying to do it with music first, right? Like I'm a music guy, so I just like everything that they're trying to do with like. I think Timbaland, he did a video with like where he did a song with Biggie. It was like Biggie's voice, but it was AI.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's just so disingenuous. And I just feel like, but people were in the comments like, oh, this is dope. This is nice. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? This isn't him. You know what I mean?
That you could use, I wish I mean, I really think that there's an advantage to AI in terms of using it for the greater good, for, I don't know, politics, or to change like shit that's really going on in the world, and then just let the creatives stay creative.
Right,
Because that's
exactly.
literally what our jobs are.
Right.
But, I don't know if you saw that thing on Instagram where the guy was like, can AI help us pick up the plastic out of the ocean or something like that? And they were making fun of it, but it's true. It's like, how can you actually use this amazing resource that, we're always going to be going forward and progressing technologically? Like, how can you use this amazing resource for things that we actually need it for?
Right.
Rather than like taking a job from creatives who is already such a struggle
Right.
in what we do.
Well, it's kind of interesting because it's like the way that it's being used right now, it's just like it's copying people's IP, right?
Right.
It's taking creators, copying, like being fed all of their IP, and then being told to like generate something similar to it. You know what I mean? So it's like, what is it actually doing except
It's not going to
copying
work.
the creators and
Yeah, it's not going to work.
just regurgitating what we already have. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't feel like it's intelligent at all. It's,
Even like when I do the Opus clip, right?
Right,
And
right.
we do the videos. It already does the whole like title for you. So
Right.
like it'll make a clip for us for, Instagram or whatever, right? A clip of, the video of this podcast, and it has the title, and everything is just so like it's just all the same
Right,
on each
right,
clip.
right,
It
right.
changes up certain words, but it's the same thing.
yeah, but it'll make like 15 videos, but like 3 will have the same content in it.
Yeah.
Like the same
It
conversation
just
in it.
won't.
You know what I mean?
It's just not going to work.
So it's like it's, I don't know. It's very disingenuous.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't understand why we have it. Like, you have tons of creators out here. You don't need anything to,
Yeah.
you don't need to put anything to make you a song or write you a song. I told ChatGPT to make a rap for me. I mean, it was the most terrible rap. Like, who wrote this shit?
You were like, no, I want
This isn't me.
Right? Yeah, I want to, some
Yeah.
Eminem or
Make me
something.
amazing.
But I just think it's very disingenuous to take, all these years of, these creators like putting their heart and soul into this work, and you trying to feed it to a machine
Yeah.
to get rid of the creators that actually do the hard
The
work
hard
to
work.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's so
make it
messed up.
possible. It's just kind of
So,
crazy.
so Nikki, how do you get prepared? Like, as a writer, how are you able to focus? And just know, like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to write. Like, how do you get into that that mode,
A zone.
that zone?
Well, right after here, I'm gonna go to AFI, and I just go sit in the library, in the quiet zone of the library, and until they close, which is 6. So,
You really would do that?
that's what I'm doing after here. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, because I have to write.
Yeah.
Gotta get the shit out. And so what I've noticed is I have a great office at home, and I really am productive there. But when I'm extremely exhausted, like days like today, like this week has been a really tough week, I just want to go to bed. And the bed
Yeah.
is just right downstairs.
Right,
Just
right.
go. And I'm tempted, right? So what I've been doing was like, all right, I don't like going, I'm not a cafe person. I don't like too much, I
Noise.
can't do noise.
Yeah,
So
no.
I was like, all right, I'm just going to go to the AFI library. I'll step out, take a little break every hour, talk to someone. Someone will always be there, say hi. But it's just, honestly, even if I'm not feeling creative, if I'm not feeling like doing it, I just do it. I just go and just set the time aside, and I put it in my calendar. My friend, Daniel Egbert, man, he's great. He has 2 kids, toddlers. He sends them off to preschool, and then he's like, all right. He doesn't take, I'm not like that, because I have meetings all over the place too on Zoom, and they're like up and down and random times. But what he did, and what I'm striving to do, is he's like, I'm sending my kids off to school, and then I think he writes from like 8 to 2.
Very
Then
disciplined.
he's also military. He's ex-military, 3 tours in Iraq. He's extremely disciplined, and he gets out drafts like crazy. Like, he's writing like 4 scripts at a time.
Wow.
And they're out.
Wow.
And so he does that, and then I think he takes meetings from like 2 to 4. Like that's his meeting time.
So he sets his
And
schedules.
then he picks up the kids, and then it's family time. And it's like that for him every day. And I'm like, wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I wish it could be
Discipline.
like that.
Yeah.
So those are like the goals I strive for. But right now, I just look at my calendar weekly, and I set in the writing times in there. And then if things change randomly because of meetings, I'll look at it the day before, and I'm like, all right, I have to at least write this time because you have to get something done, you know. And like my roommate is a perfect example. He's a personal assistant. He's always so busy doing other people's work. And he's like, but he's also creative, and he's a writer and a director. And he's like, man, I'm just so tired. I'm not getting this stuff done. And I was like, you know, when you really want it, you're just going to do it. There's not going to be like all these excuses of I'm tired. I'm fucking exhausted too, you know? And he sees me staying up till 3 a.m. and waking up at 5.
Yeah.
When I'm doing a pitch the next day.
Yeah.
You know, like it will get done. And he always wakes up and he's like, did you finish it? I'm like, yes, motherfucker. Who do you think this is? I'm like, I'm going to
5 in the morning?
I'm going to top executives, and you want me to tell them I'm sorry, I was too tired to finish, and I'm not prepared to be here. Like, no, you have one chance. I am not
One
a
shot.
Nepo baby.
Go, Nikki.
Like I don't have people
goodness.
behind me.
Yes.
To, you know, it's like no, you have to do the thing.
Yes.
So, girl, I don't know. I just don't sleep.
You got to do what you got to do.
take a lot of naps.
Yeah.
Naps are good though.
Some people are nappers.
I know.
My husband isn't a napper, and he works so much, and he's so tired. But me, I nap. I'll take a nap, you know, if I have time
I'll
to
take
do
a
it.
nap in a hot ass minute.
Yeah.
Don't let me start dozing off. I am done.
He's like, I'll take it up right now.
Yeah, I remember you called me. You're like, "Hey, are you home?" I'm like, "Yeah, I finally got home." He's like, "Oh, I just woke up," and I'm like, "Where are you?" In the office, like, still here?
Yeah.
Because we went to go eat a hot dog down the street. Yeah,
Don't tell my wife I went to go eat a hot dog. Don't tell her. Shh, be quiet. Keep that on the low. Keep that on the low. Man.
You're funny.
So, Nikki, you are constantly working,
Yeah.
constantly pitching. So what do you hope is going to be your next project? Like, what's the thing that you want to work on next?
it's a good question.
Okay, so I'm pitching for a film I'm not allowed to talk about, but I hope that will be my next project.
Okay.
Aside from that one, though, I really want to make my bottle service film. So I'm putting all my energy into that. And that was shoot in Mexico. And I love Mexico. I went to Mexico last year. I was almost in Mexico like 6 months out of last year because
Really?
I had to get it.
What part were you in?
I went everywhere. I went to Mexico City, which I didn't love that much because I'm not a city vibe person. But then I went to Quintana Roo, Cancun. I love this place called, oh God, what's it called? It's next to Playa del Carmen. It's like a tiny fishing town on the border. It's so nice. Although tourists have been discovering it lately, and it was very touristy this time that I went. The islands. I want to go to Nayarit. I also went to Oaxaca.
Okay.
I gotta go with you to Mexico because we are like
I go
so
by
scared.
myself. Oh no, you just go. It's not bad as long as you don't go to the narco territory.
Yeah.
Like, just don't go to narco territory. It's
Wait,
very
how do you know we're narco territory?
Just Google where are the narcos in Mexico. Maybe AI will tell you. You should put that into AI.
right.
What?
Chat GPT.
Where are the
narcos
narcos
at?
in Mexico?
Where the narcos at?
Don't know that.
Yeah, and
Right.
so I
You
just
just
don't
go by yourself? Wow.
Just go. I just go.
You are a
And then I
beast.
always invite people too, and then they don't show up or whatever. I went to the mountains where I met my shaman.
Dope.
Wow.
Dope.
I just go. It's really not. I've never felt in danger,
Wow. That's good.
and I've been walking alone by myself in Mexico, and I have never felt
Yeah.
one time. Don't book an Airbnb. Look and also Google where the narcos live. Because
Yeah.
I once went. I booked an Airbnb and it was cheaper than everyone else. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, perfect. I want to get this Airbnb. I got into the taxi in Cancun and he was like, oh, I don't know if we should go to this neighborhood. And it wasn't a ghetto neighborhood.
Right,
Yeah.
Nice ass neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
He was like, if you drive around there too much, if you knock on the wrong door, like one of my compatriots, the compadres, like knocked on the wrong door and 2 guys with guns came out. And we could not find my Airbnb, and we're driving around up and down, and he's like, we gotta go. And the streets were like not
right.
fixed. And I was like, all right, let's just go. I'll just find a hotel. Let's take me where the hotels
They
are.
see you driving around a couple times.
Yeah,
and
they're
shit.
like, what are you doing?
Right.
And I
Wow.
did. That was the one time that I was like, okay, it felt I was like,
Little
let's
weird.
go, let's go.
Yeah.
But that's the only time. So just look where you could just
Yeah.
Google. Yeah, I could have Googled literally, and then I Googled the neighborhood, and it said all the narcos live here, and I was like, oh well,
Yeah.
maybe should have Googled before.
Yeah, that's scary. I'm scared. I'll have to go with you next time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we plan it
it's
time
very
to go to Mexico.
So I want to shoot this one in Mexico, and
Yeah.
it'd be dope. I'm just like gunning for this. So I'm gonna have a couple drafts out, and maybe I don't know. Everything depends on the strike, you know.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, if you are not a part of the guild, why does everything depend on the strike? Would you?
Because I can't attach talent to anything. I can't go out and pitch anything because I still am. It's crossing the picket line, right? And so if I do go out and pitch, then the WJ won't accept me in the future because you're pitching to companies that are signatories to all these guilds.
Right.
So if you want to do anything, you just can't do it. Like my whole team is like, no, we're being extra cautious. They've canceled meetings for me because they want
Really?
it to be like a pitch meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything is dependent on the strike for everyone.
Yeah, for everybody.
Oh wow.
The Voice might be canceled too.
Really?
Because of all this that's going
the
on.
non-union. Is that?
It's union, but it's like a reality, right?
Yeah, but I thought reality kept going. Like everyone.
I mean, they were on. They just got done striking, and they're supposed to come back June 19th, I think, or June 20th. And supposedly it's in the talks right now that it may not, due to the fact that of the strikes and stuff, everything that's just going on now with SAG. And
So is it just like, these are fellow unions, we have to support them?
Yeah.
And,
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're fighting for everyone.
Right,
It's
right.
like if you're gonna be in the union because I know I'll be in the union soon.
Right.
yeah,
It's they won't accept me. They'll be frowned. They'll be like, no, you betrayed
like
us.
blackballed type of deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be careful in this. It's a small world in this film industry, really.
Yes.
Very small.
Don't say bad things about people.
You never know who you're talking to.
I don't say that
don't.
from personal experience.
And you don't know who's related to who.
Exactly.
Every time when I was in the business, they were like, how did you get in? Who do you know? Like, why do I got to know someone? But yeah, it's my dad and my brothers. Like,
You're like, okay, I do know
I
someone.
do. Yeah,
Like,
everyone's
what does your
related.
dad do?
He's a grip.
Oh,
And my brothers are riggers.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've been
In the
for
business
TV
forever.
or
For everything. For everything. Commercial, everything.
That's
yeah. I didn't think I was going to end up in the industry, but I did.
what did you think you were gonna end up doing?
I thought I was going to be like a nurse or something, or like broadcasting.
Oh wow.
I wanted to do that for a
Well,
while.
now you're doing a podcast.
Now
so
I'm
maybe
doing a
you
podcast.
You might end up in broadcasting. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Man.
that was back in the day.
Damn, Nikki, I had a question. Oh, it just slipped.
Sorry, Mash.
No, you're good. What has your experiences been like as far as, how am I trying to ask this? Have you had any like Harvey Weinstein instances or something like that where people are, trying to try you, as far as like you trying to get a job or, anything like that? Has that ever?
As an actor, I definitely had those experiences. I've never disclosed with you, and I won't. Because when the Me Too started, I was still at a point in my healing where I was still going through a lot, and it was very difficult to speak out about the things that I was going through. I'm glad the people that did some things to me, they all got found out, so it's okay.
Right.
But I think I've only had one instance. I'm very tough.
Yeah.
and people have asked me this all the time. They're like, how are you when you have to work with all men and all this shit? And I, like I said, I was not lying when I consider myself an old white man. I
Yeah.
walk into a room like that.
You got to be firm.
Yeah. But then they don't see you like that.
Right, right.
No.
Funny because I feel like it, and then
Yeah.
they're like, what is this little girl doing?
I identify as an old white
White man.
man.
You have to be a certain way around men. 'Cause
gotta-
it's like
you
a
gotta tell them your
man's world.
pronouns.
That's what I was telling
I'm like
you.
that even around women, and I get
Around
a lot
women
of
too.
women who kind of are like, oh, I don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Girl, sorry, I'm not gonna say that. But I've had one instance last year when I was on set where a man in a he's in a high position, but not like as a producer, just like in the general crew.
Yeah.
Said something to me, and I did not stand up for myself. And I went up to my mentor and I was like, man, what should I do? I feel like if I would have stood up for myself, it was a choice, right? Like I could stand up for myself, right? Or don't say anything. And I chose not to say anything because I felt like I had worked so hard to get to this point. And I felt like if I said something, I kind of felt like everything would be derailed. And my mentor said, no. She said, no matter who says something to you, doesn't matter where you're at, doesn't matter if you're shadowing, doesn't matter if you're a director on set, doesn't matter if you are a PA.
Yeah.
She was like, you have to stand up for yourself in that moment and not worry about, the repercussions
right.
of it, because it's about you and it's about, your integrity and who you are and what you will allow. So ever since then, nothing has happened, but I have run through the scenario in my head many times of what I should have said or could have said. And probably next time when that does happen, because I know it will happen again.
Yeah.
I have so many things in my mind of what I'm going to say.
You already know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't let it happen again.
Yeah. And as far as
Another thing, so just on that
Yeah.
subject, which something that really did piss me off on a set last year, and I didn't know this was happening. If I would have known, I would have kicked whoever it was off my set, which apparently someone was talking about me on my set about something that I just didn't know that they were about my personal life. And
wow.
I didn't know this was happening. I found out after, and it wasn't even like someone was telling me. I think it was an accident that someone was talking about it, and I was like, oh, what? If I would have known that, I would have kicked those two people off my set.
Right.
Like, no, you're not going to disrespect me on my own set. Like, what do you
Right.
think you are? I don't give a fuck. Like,
Right.
no. And I wish I would have known, and I would have made an example. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's hiring the right people.
Yeah.
People that will respect you from the beginning. And if they don't, just don't have them on set.
Yeah. And as far as like, cause standing up for yourself, like I was even telling Maj one time about, a guy that is in a high position that had came up to me and was like, hey, I've always seen him around. So, hi, hello, always respectful, always respectful to the guy that's in the high position, right? Everyone knows him. Everyone says hi. And this time he was like, hey, come here. And I'm like, okay. So, and he was just like, hey, wanted to know if we can go out, to have some coffee, and that can be anything, right? So I wasn't thinking anything, but then I was like, it just feels weird. You can feel it. Felt weird. And he was like, but instead of giving me his contact, he was like, so you can call. He was like saying I can call production or something and ask for so-and-so and get his number. So I don't know if it were to fall back on him, it would be like I was reaching out to him and calling him, and like it would be like a chain link basically of like if I were to say something, they'd be like,
right.
oh no, she called
reached
me,
out,
she
right.
called production, I have proof. It's just crazy what he said, because I was like, he could have just gave me his number then, but I wasn't gonna get the number anyways. But I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh okay, yeah, oh okay, for sure, being extra nice, and I walked away upset. And I could feel it. And I didn't stand up for myself, but I avoided him. I never wanted to, like, whenever it was time for lunch, I never wanted to come out to craft service. I was like, I'll just wait, and some of the guys were like, come on, Veronica, let's go. And I'm like, no, I'm going to wait because I think he's there. I just don't want to be over there.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be worried about that. Like,
Yeah, I just felt weird every time I would see him or he would see me. I felt like he reached out to me too much or he would want to come. But, like, I wish I would have stood up for myself, and said, like, there's boundaries. And not just because you're the head or whoever you are, we do feel like that, like where we want to just kind of like,
Or you could just say no, thank you.
yeah.
That's it. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to explain why.
Right.
You don't have to explain
And
why.
I didn't
You
even
don't
say
owe
that,
anyone an explanation.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I was just like, okay, yeah. But I was just like, the
Just felt
fucking guy, what the fuck?
left feeling disgusted with
Yeah,
yourself.
and it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's always a constant. It's like a work in progress type of thing of standing up for yourself but now you know. And
Yeah.
next time
now I know what I'm going to
hopefully you do
say.
it. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. I'll beat your mother.
No.
Wipe your ass all up and down this studio.
I'm not going to get that crazy.
Seriously.
Nah, I was messing around. Nikki, to the aspiring directors,
Yes.
actors. Wait, you're an actor too, right?
Yes. Let's say yes. I
You,
guess.
because you did. You were on Tomorrow War.
Yeah, tomorrow I did a tiny role. I was the
And the
Viper
doctors, too?
pilot.
You were what?
The Viper pilot.
The Viper Pod. Did you die?
Probably.
Probably.
I think so.
It was a small role.
Yeah, it's like when did you watch that movie?
I did watch it.
Oh, you know,
but it was
when,
like over
when
a
the
year ago.
female comes, when they find the female, there's only like one big female alien creature,
Right.
and they're like pulling her out of the tunnel,
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
with the planes because they're trying to get her out of there and take her away. I was the pilot, and then Chris was like, I don't remember, man.
That was a long time
Chris
ago.
said something, and I was like, they fly. They fly. The worst part about it is they fly or some shit. And he's like, oh, shit. And so, yeah, that was one of my lines.
That was your line.
But what I loved about that, see, is to always take advantage of any situation, right? That was December. Wow, that was right before the pandemic hit. So that was December of 2019. And it was right before winter break. And AFI does not let anyone go out to set or to work. You have to be at school. Like, it's a 7 days a week type of school.
Okay.
And I had gotten the call that I booked this role. This was the last acting thing that I did before AFI. And I was like, hey, to the AFI class, I was like, I really want to go do this role. It's like a really big production, and I want to shadow the director. So I got there. Chris McKay was amazing. I knew I had only learned for like 2 or 3 months, 4 months or something at AFI. And I got there and I asked Chris, I was like, hey, I'm here for a couple weeks. Can I shadow you when it's not my scene? And he was like, oh, for sure. I told him I was at AFI. The crew was really welcoming. Lukasz Belian was the camera operator, the lead camera operator. And he took me kind of under and was like showing me things. And the main AC for those types of films, because they're so big, the movements are so wide, and like you have to be so precise. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe you're keeping this shit in focus. This camera is moving like it's like this crazy. But they took me under, and then Chris was amazing. I would like break down my scenes, and he would challenge me. He would be like, okay, how would you edit this scene? Like, stuff, ask me stuff like that. Like, he did not have to do that. I was not an official shadow. I was just asking him to, so that was the best experience.
Dope. That's super dope. So to finish off my question, to aspiring directors, filmmakers, what advice do you have for them, as far as, getting to a place to, where they could get representation and start doing pitches and things like that? Like, what would be your advice to them?
I think I'm sure it's easy, but just make material, just write your script, just go shoot it. My quote on my Instagram page is, done is better than perfect. I don't think anything that I've done is up to the standard that I wanted it to be, but I finished it.
Right.
And definitely what I've noticed in this industry is that people talk a lot and they don't finish anything.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I don't want to hear you talking. I really don't care.
Right.
Like, show me something,
Yeah.
People don't have time to waste on chat. So I just say just do it, and just like put in the hours of practicing whatever it is, the craft that you want. If you want to direct, go out and direct. Go do it with your phone. When I went to Oaxaca, I got the Filmic Pro app on my phone. I got one of those gimbals. I shot so much stuff in Oaxaca. I have like 2 documentaries that I haven't even edited because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make a doc about this and I'm going to make a doc about that. And I'm not even a documentary filmmaker. I was just like so like inspired by the culture, you know? So just put in the hours. They always say 10,000 hours to master anything. So just you got to do it.
Right.
And that will, and as you work, people will see you working and focused, and people will start coming in. I never asked for anything. I've never asked for everything that's coming. I've prayed for it.
Right.
I've meditated. I do my gratitudes and affirmations every single day. I think you should do gratitudes at least, because we are so blessed to be doing what we're doing. But people just are coming. I'm not going out and searching. It's just coming, because all I care about is focusing on my work and getting it done. So yeah, that's what
I like that.
Nikki Mejia.
Get the shit
y'all.
done.
If the people want to reach out to you, Nikki, they want to send you a script, or if they want to ask to shadow you, where can they find you?
Probably Instagram is the easiest. I always look on there, Nikki, nikki.mejia, Mejia, or email me, nikki.r.mejia@gmail.com.
Oh, she gave the email out. Y'all better
love it.
hit her up.
And then as far as like your films and stuff that you're trying to put out and stuff, and you're looking for actors, do you usually put it on your Instagram as well? Like for casting calls and stuff like that?
Always on Instagram. And man, I have so many actors on there. It's kind of awesome, actually.
I know. I love following
you see, I always post, I need this actor for this thing.
Yeah.
Always on Instagram I post. Obviously, I think once I start getting into bigger films, I'll get a casting director. Like this next one, I'm hoping to have an amazing casting director. And then I'll be like, please go through that, because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But so far, yeah, like anything I need, I always post on there. Instagram is just such a great platform for that, for meeting people. And
Yeah.
All right, everybody, listen, you have heard it here first. Thank you to Miss Nikki Mejia for being here today, sharing the wisdom, sharing her story, one hell of a story, and giving you guys the jewels that you need to further your career. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank
you so much for
We
having
appreciate
me.
you.
Yes, for your time.
Definitely. So you could find her on Instagram. You could also find us on Instagram as well, at Beyond Take Two, and at Beyond_Hollywood for the Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. Submissions will open back up August 15th for 2024. We are making a couple changes. We're adding a couple days. We're doing we're trying to do some big things, y'all. You know what I mean? So,
In the works.
hopefully, we could get Nikki on board to come through, and I'm gonna put her on the spot. You know what I'm saying? It's on camera, so she's got to say yes. But no, we're definitely gonna have some special guests. We would love for you to be a part of it. We'll talk about it. If the schedule works out. But yeah. We're doing our thing. This is episode
19.
You sure?
I think, yeah.
wow.
Episode 19.
Episode 19, y'all.
Yes, episode 19.
And if it's not, then you better title it episode 19.
Right. Beyond Take Two podcast brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. I'm your host, Madge.
And I'm your host, Veronica.
Thank you again to our special guest, Ms. Nikki Mejia. We have just completed episode 19, and we will see you guys next week. Next week, episode 20.
Woo.
We is 20 set?
20 set.
20 is set?
Yes.
Can we...
No.
Can we say it? No? Okay, I'm not going to say it then. We will show you next week. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you always for tuning in. We'll see you. Peace.